Welcome to Luna and the Druid, our video channel about spirituality, tarot, Wheel of Year, paganism, magic, and inspiration. And today, in our midweek video, we're going to continue the journey of the Fool. And next to me, we have our own teacher, our own Hierophant, Luna. Luna, welcome.
Hi, Jan. Hello, and welcome, all our viewers.
What shall we talk about today?
Hierophant. Oh,
Hierophants.
yes,
Hierophants.
actually, when
Yeah,
the fool meets the Hierophant and the
yeah.
lessons.
And the
And
lessons for the fool. Yeah. In Monday's episode, we talked a bit about the card meaning of the Hierophant, the archetype of the Hierophant, the Jungian archetype, the bright side and the dark side. Today, we're going to talk about the teachings. So, we're going to meet the spiritual teacher. And I have a small surprise because after the learning points, we're going to talk, if we have time, a bit about do we need a new kind of Hierophant? Do we need a new type of teacher in our lives?
mm,
Do the old ones still are they still relevant in these days and age? So what I'll do, I'll put up a nice slide to guide us through the show that keeps the flow going, and we just
I'll
start.
try not to mess up the screen.
Ah, you know, we have all kinds of energies that can mess up the show.
Oh, yeah.
Little doggies and
Yes, one is playing actually here. So if you see my camera shaking now, you know why.
and oh yeah, and I noticed already that she was a little bit busy today, so
Yes.
a little bit jumpy. So
Yeah,
here's
well,
the slide, and we have our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful special Hierophant from the Lightyear Tarot, the one with the stairway to heaven, the laughing Hierophant. Um, that already probably gives an answer to the question we'll pose in the end. Do we need a new kind of Hierophant? Would
mhm.
this be the Hierophant we need? But then last week the fool was with the Emperor, and now he knocks on the door. And what does he hear?
Tradition knocking.
Tradition knocking, yes. Yes. We get the magus of the eternal gods, and we get the
Mm,
lessons for the fool from the Hierophant. First lesson always, the traditional lesson of the Hierophant is about belief systems, rules, and traditions. What can you say about that, Luna?
also spiritual guidance as well, which for me is the most important meaning of the Hierophant, the connection between the what's above and the physical reality. But unlike High Priestess, it's for me, to me, it's like going a step further, an embodiment in a physical world and in a physical reality. That whatever we can touch, whatever we can see. High Priestess gets her knowledge from going within, and it's more on the dreamy realm. But Hierophant is the embodiment of structure, of tradition, of sometimes I'll just perhaps show image of one of a few cards. This one is a more of a traditional side, so you can tell that it's a person of knowledge and person of power in some sense, a spiritual leader very often, uh, both religious and other. Um, and of course, this one, very unusual. Uh, which suggests the connection with heaven, the stairway of heaven, as you called this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and what I also see is that the Hierophant um, bridges the gap between the spiritual and religious practices, and then the
mm,
structure it brings in the community and the meaning that that these teachings bring into our lives. So that's the most important thing of that, I think.
mm.
Um,
Also seeking wisdom in that sense as well.
Yeah, that's actually that's point two, what you're where you're already moving into. Point two being a spiritual wisdom and guidance. So the wisdom and the pursuit of deeper truths that can be found in meditation
Mm.
or other spiritual activities, and would connect the full within the inner self. So it's finding the inner self up there, finding the inner self in spiritual wisdom and guidance and meditation.
Well said, Jan. Thank you for sharing this point because it's not always as obvious as it may seem.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm.
Well, the third point and the third teaching then would be symbology. So the teaching
Oh,
about the interpretations and the correspondences of symbols and myths, finding deeper meanings and truths about life, the universe, and everything.
and that's where your specialization comes in. The Druidism is all about symbols, isn't it? It's all about
Yeah,
meanings.
yeah, yeah. Druidism, by the way, also tarot symbology, of course. The tarot is the book of life. The Hierophant is the book of life, and also the Hierophant has these connections to Taurus and to the Taurus cards. What was it, the 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles? Interesting cards,
Mm.
where you have the speed of Mercury fighting with the slow movement of Taurus in the 7, and then the moon, the quick movements up and down in the success card of the 6, and and the heaviness of Saturn and Taurus in the 5s, where you have the
Mm.
worry and the slow part of it. So yeah, there's a lot of, and these are teachings that really bridge the gap between, like we said before, between the high, between the above and the below. So very spiritual teachings, very spiritual ideas, and conceptual ideas. But of course, we don't only live in a spiritual world. We also live in a manifested world,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
that's where we find the next teachings of the Hierophant.
Servitude. I love that word.
Yeah, yeah. Servitude.
Apparently, our producer likes it as well. Karma, can you please be quiet? Thank you. Apologies for that.
Servitude. Yeah. Well, what are your ideas about that one?
Um, being at service, being some sort of guidance for those who are seeking that guidance, leading by example, practicing what you preach, basically, which I think druids are all about. How do you feel about that?
Well, actually, we have in our practice what we call community services, like
Mm.
uh, opening of events, being present where when things are on in the community. As druids, I do charity walks, bring my drum, and be present there
Amazing.
as a servant for the community. Um, like a druid, we would also do hunt fastings, weddings, funerals, and stuff like
Mm.
that. And of course, what's very important in these situations, that you are there completely present, well prepared, uh, as a as a service to others and a service for the greater good.
Mm. Lovely.
Mhm. Yeah,
Lovely.
yeah. And the next one then would be mercy. That's the transformative power of mercy,
Mm.
healing a rift, restoring harmony, mercy as a strength, forgiveness, forgive your enemies. They don't know what they're doing.
Mhm. Yeah, forgive yourself as well. You don't know what you're doing either.
No, not at all, not at all. And from mercy and forgiveness comes goodness, of course, as an inner light that guides your actions, that guides your
Mm.
decisions. Um, we have often had this discussion together, Luna, about goodness. Um, we believe most people are good.
Yeah. Um, it makes me think. Do you remember last time on our during our live show on Monday, we did a pick a card. Actually, you did a pick a card,
Yeah.
but the messages were coming to me as well, and that was an interesting experience. And one of the messages was about sharing your gift, and it leads to that servitude. It leads to that being in service. If you have a gift, something given to you, the time where you could put it into a drawer and forget about it are over. Right now, collectively, we are all being pushed to show the true version of ourselves and to give what we came here to give. Because life is not all about just paying bills, going to work, doing whatever needs to be done at home, going to pub on Friday. That there is more to life, and very often we keep ourselves stuck in a situation, or we have life we don't want to have anymore because there is something missing and we can feel that. So I think the Hierophant helps to connect that part, um, and bring it into the life, into the physical form.
Super. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Sorry, that was something which came to me out of heavens, probably.
No, no worries. Very good.
Sometimes I have this kind of rambling moments.
Yeah, well, you use it because the words that come out of you deeply resonate with my feelings. So yeah,
Anyway, let's
and
go
and
back to a beautiful chart.
yeah, and there we already embarked on part five. There, it's because it's about your personal truths.
Hmm.
It's about the inner landscape and the inner questions um, about about our beliefs. Sometimes, if, or most often, it is about our beliefs. Is what do we think? What do we expect from life? And are we able to bring space around our beliefs so we can let the miracles of life happen?
Mm, yeah,
So
that's
often it
exactly
happens.
what it
Yeah.
is.
So often it happens that we yeah, that we just accept what the world throws at us, and although these beliefs, our own beliefs, are different, and that the
Mhm.
fool learns to investigate these things himself and to find what their path is, you know, what
Yeah.
their wisdom is.
Mm,
So finding what resonates within your own truths, and you don't need to blindly adhere to integrated teachings from but go from personal intuition and personal appearance, and yeah, be yourself. That's what this finding personal truths points to. Um, you see so many people that just run off in a life that is
mm,
blueprinted by society, having their being a slave of mortgages and car debts and sometimes even family life or a marriage, and they stick to it because it's how it's supposed to be. And I always say, no, it's not how it's supposed to be.
that is so true, and that's that traditional structure of the Hierophant, um, which is not always the way for us, our way, because tradition is one thing, but individual lessons and individual life learnings and soul learnings is a totally different story.
Yeah. I can share on that perspective, by the way, a text that I received earlier um, from one of our viewers on Monday, and
Mm.
What he says, I'm finding the Hierophant a bit tougher than usual, Jan, because he's making me aware of all the walls, change, and locks that were placed around me from such a young age.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is deep.
yeah. And it's tough trying to find a logical reason there.
Mm,
So, and maybe you know from our preparations for this week, that I also said that I kind of struggled with the Hierophant archetype,
yeah.
and yeah, that I'm against dogma. I'm actually Druids have only one dogma, that there is no dogma.
Mhm.
There is no fixed set of beliefs you have to believe in as a Druid. No, be good, do good. We also adhere to Crowley's to Aleister Crowley's law of the law. Uh, what do what you will shall be the law. Love under
Mhm.
will. Love is the law.
Mm.
Love under will. So love is the law, uh, which is also a bridge to next week, of course, when we go for the lovers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But then we are actually we're already at point six, where we start to rebel against the dogma, and where we challenge conformity.
And that's what I actually like about Hierophant, that aspect of the rebellion, because I'm a rebel myself. So that's in my nature. So I will resonate with everything which represents that energy as well. Um, because, well, sometimes we just have to go against the stream. And having that strength and confidence to do that
Yeah,
is an important life skill, in my opinion. Mm, and that's what this card represents. Or even better, this one. I have a Hierophant which is represented by a female.
well, like we had female emperors last week.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So uh, I think that there is a need of for changing the archetype.
yeah. So we need. So you're answering already the question we posed at the end of our slide. Do we need a new kind of hierophant?
Well, I didn't answer that just yet.
Well, you
My
pointed
point
to
is
it.
there is a need for a change. In my personal belief, obviously, but it's just my way of looking at things, and I would like to discuss that, um, because tradition very often is important. It's the glue which kept things going and kept things going in circles. But
Yeah,
the question is, are those circles good? Are those circles or certain traditions serve us? Is it because we live in such a different times when the traditional things were invented or made or created? And
yeah.
uh,
Of course, the regular, the modern tarot was invented in the 17th century and
mm,
hasn't changed that much. We had uh, early 20th century, the Rider Waite with new visions,
mm,
but still, like 120 years ago, our society was completely different, and what was normal then wouldn't be normal now. We've seen women stand up, getting voters' rights, getting jobs, equal jobs as men. Probably we're still on track there because it's it's a process we're still in the middle of. But but the tarot was built in times when these processes were just hardly starting, and that's more.
my doggy.
Is someone redoing your house?
I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but she's just
Oh my
hilarious.
God, that's good. Yeah, so
The producer is very naughty. Anyway, apologize for that. Karma, would you please stop, baby? Anyway,
life goes on. So
especially
so
with a puppy, 6 months old today.
yeah, congratulations on a 6 months birthday.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah. So, like I said, we when we have new norms and a new society, we
Mm.
need we need a new hierophant as well. Like uh, even maybe 50 years ago, in many societies in continental Europe and in Ireland as well, the priest was the one who told what needed to be done. That was the teacher, and like we had the Pope in the old days, and we that archetype actually no longer serves us. It really doesn't. Um, we should step out of it, find a new teacher, find teachers that are not necessarily um, taking advantage, that don't take the role they are in to their advantage, that work from an equality and from an honesty. Um, and yeah, I would say that's the new hierophant we need.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Um, there is another aspect of Hierophant which I personally see a lot, and I mentioned that on our live during our live as well. That Hierophant represents very often commitment as well, um, and often it can be seen in life as going and doing and keep going to make things happen despite the difficulties. Like the best example is with Karma. She was going absolutely crazy, doing super funny stuff in a second. Uh, and she's persistent. If she sees something new she would like to play with, because she's bigger, so she can reach the higher shelf now. So the whole universe has opened it for her.
Yeah,
Uh, and to me, I can see how persistent she is. She commits to her goal, and she will find a way to do it.
yeah.
Messing with our recording, but
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. It's actually
And
what
and
more
and,
fun.
and teaching us mercy and goodness. So she's our new type of hierophant.
And that was actually my point. Is karma a new type of hierophant then?
Uh,
Um,
she is. She is.
did
The
you hear?
ones that are capable of reaching or yeah or yeah reaching or touching the aspects of our life where we
Mhm.
feel the most pain, and we have to stay present. We have not to lose ourselves. We have to stay present. We have to be in the now. And those are our real teachings. Those are the real teachings for the full uh, from the new hierophant.
I like that.
Not
I
getting
like.
carried away and not committing to societal norms, because we see in the society pressure on young people to to step out of roles they would probably love to stay in. That's we have the gender issue,
Mhm.
and there's a lot to do there. There's a lot of things opening up, but there's also from the queer community a lot of pressure on people who enter there to uh, to go further than they intentionally wanted to. And
Mhm.
so that there's also a new type of hierophant needed there to keep people grounded, to keep people true to their values, and not
Yeah,
to commit to all
absolutely.
kinds of trends and stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely. There is a huge identity crisis in general. That's because things are breaking. The old tradition is changing. Everything's changing basically.
yeah.
Mm,
And so we're lost. We lost our guides. Actually, we lost our teachers. We lost our uh, true teachers who
mhm,
teach undisputed truths and show us the way. Another teacher that wants to be, venerated, but the teacher that points just points in the right direction, as my favorite thing the Werkvizier does. It's
yeah.
showing the way.
We would love to see some comments if with your perspective on the Hierophant. Do you think it's the new one is needed, the archetype needs to change, or are you happy with the old structure with I'm already like saying old, but it is for me. The version of the society which doesn't serve people anymore, doesn't serve humanity. So it would be lovely if you could add something. But Jan, could you think of a positive and a negative aspect of the Hierophant from a real life?
Yeah, a positive one would be someone who carries the flag,
Mm,
someone that doesn't necessarily teach or pushes or forces, but shows,
mm,
someone that lives the life they want to teach, that lives by example, that
mm.
leads by example.
Do you
And
think
then, yeah,
would be a good example of the Hierophant?
who?
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, Dalai Lama or
Mhm.
yeah, the smiling gurus. um, of course, Dalai Lama is a bit out of society. We might find someone closer to us.
Mhm.
But yeah, but someone who carries the flag, who gives us the yeah gives us the example of constructive rebellion.
Mm.
And of course, the negative hierophants are in my view, all conspiracy theorists that go come up with ideas and thoughts and ideas of we're all gonna die, we're all gonna be we're all gonna be enslaved by society and this and that. If you want to live in a world like that, be my
Mm.
guest. But it doesn't suit. It does things like that don't serve me. And you can always say, okay, I was the pessimist, and things went wrong, and I was right. Yeah. And I say I was the optimist, I was wrong, but I had fun while it lasted. And that's for me more that's more important lesson, that life should be fun right now, and whatever threats hang above us is not important. What I one thing I remember from when the conspiracy theories really took off uh, around the COVID and later Illuminati and all kinds of stuff, and the Bilderberg Group and Charles Schwab, and Barack Obama was asked, "What do you think about the conspiracies? Who's ruling the world?"
Mhm.
And Obama just had one sentence. He says, "Sorry, but nobody's driving the bus."
That's a lot of wisdom in those words, actually.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bus. It's it just goes, and that also conforms my own feeling that it's not individuals that build society; it's society that builds society.
I think so. The consciousness the
Yeah,
consciousness collective.
and then you could even say that everything is a conspiracy because every person strives for the best in their lives, strives for
Mhm.
passion. When you start up when you start up a business, you want to be the best. You want to compete. That's already a conspiracy.
Yeah, but when you look
You have,
at
you
it,
have, you have a
absolutely.
purposeful goal to be better than someone else and to make more money than someone else. That's already a conspiracy.
That's a very interesting way of looking at. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Uh, yeah, that's the rebellious again.
Yeah, still rebelling, still a rebel, but taking a totally different vantage point than really
Mm,
conspiracy theorists.
yeah.
So then, I think this was a nice way to end this journey with the Hierophant.
And I was actually
Need a new
thinking
one?
that
Yeah.
we made it such a structured card. We are both wild spirit and free spirit, so we kind of went not in a traditional way at all about that card, and I really love that because it shows our nature and it shows how perhaps we embody that energy in our lives as fools continues to go through a journey of life.
That's true. And we're